Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the primary brief, 10 a.m. East Coast of these once United States of America. It's kind of flat right now. Looks like the S&P is just wallowing around here with the overall market. Every day we hit these like new record highs, climbing this new wall of worry. It's just, it's hard to make news on days like this, right? Well, other than that, and Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? Aside from everything bad going on in the world, I have a trite saying that says, if it's a day of the week that ends in Y, the market goes up, barring some sort of horrific, and even that, man, I've been saying lately, barring some absolutely horrific development, there's been horrific developments, the market goes up until it doesn't. Okay. Let's go ahead and get going. Welcome to day 2 of Full Throttle. I think it's me. I really don't care too much about what my competitors do, but not too many people open up the doors to their training programs and let you just come in for free. Some folks actually charge you to attend for a couple days. Probably not a bad idea. I just don't. I'm knocking out my trade briefs at these times anyway. Why don't we open up and just treat you like you're already a member? So welcome aboard for all the folks. We have over 1,000 people registered, which is great. So welcome aboard. Just a little quick intro, and then we'll get into our primary brief and showing you exactly what we do here at Top Gun Options. In my personal accounts, I am long Amazon and short Amazon. I am long XLY, short XLY. I am long Robinhood, and I am short Robinhood. We knocked out our welcome aboard brief last night. I'll show you where the replay page is in case you missed welcome aboard brief. I do it at night because people aren't sitting here chomping at the bit and wondering where the trades are or anything like that. We do it on a Monday night or a Sunday night just so we can sit back and chill, and I can tell you, get to know me type of thing. So make sure you watch that when you get a chance if you missed it. We're in the primary brief today at 10. Tomorrow afternoon at noon, we're going to do our AR brief, our accelerated retirement brief for like the second or third year in a row. The AR portfolio is my best performing portfolio, so it kind of cracks me up. Wednesday at noon, we will open 50 max afterburner full throttle max slots. And then if we don't get all 50 by Wednesday night, I'll go ahead and open up to fill 50 full throttle monthly memberships. So if you want to kind of give us a month-to-month test flight, I strongly recommend you take the monthly if there's any left. Don't be the guy who's number 51, folks. When we do 50, we shut down, right? And there's been plenty of people who are like, crap, and they join us the next quarter. So don't be that guy. And then we'll wrap up Wednesday night at 8. I'm going to give you a sample of what our full throttle training entails, the 8 live sessions that I do once a quarter that take you from, hey, man, this is a market to you're an advanced Jedi master options trader. Stole it from the United States Navy, that building block approach that can take somebody who's never even seen an option before, or like some of my Marine buddies, doesn't even know how to spell the word option, and in a short amount of time turn them into a successful trader. So in the primary brief, as I said, do a quick intro, portfolio performance, and then we'll do a strategic and operational brief, and then we get tactical, right, and trade. Take a look at our trade plan, take a look at current positions, and also new trades, and I'll answer questions as we go. This is what a week looks like here at Top Gun Options. Primary live trade brief, you're in it at 10. AR is noon on Wednesdays. Excuse me. Weekly options is a more tactical brief. It's about 30 minutes. We take shots of opportunity, maybe even a couple weekly trades each week. That's at 2 on Wednesdays, and then we round out the week on a Friday. On Thursday with our weekly debrief, because Friday I dedicate the entire day to my charitable work with the Top Gun Fighter Foundation. And again, if it sounds like you didn't get any sleep, it's tough, man. On the phone with a lot of guys trying to help out. Literally, one of the foundations is smuggling Americans out on their own. Let's just say it's been pretty busy. We've been pretty busy trying to do some stuff to help overseas. We're at the mercy of the United States government, and when you have Baghdad Jen Psaki saying, bristling at the suggestion that there are Americans stranded in Afghanistan, it's just, the people look stupid who are running this country. I mean, it's just, whatever. I can't. I'm doing my best to help out where I can. How about that? We already reviewed this last night. 2020, we nailed it. We nailed the market implosion on January 22nd. I said we were going to have a COVID crash. We did. We kind of recovered a little bit until February, right? What did I do in February 2020? I did one of these, a full throttle, and we nailed it. And then we got this the whole way down, man. The smart money failed last year. We made millionaires here at Top Gun Options. I predicted the big was coming, and we nailed it. And we nailed the turnaround. All of our portfolios saw 6 figures in performance. Hell, the AR portfolio almost saw 7 figures in performance, folks. And look at right at the top there. We pounded the S&P 500 literally into the dirt. Brazil, Disney, Wynn, MGM. It was great. Bullish on Amazon. We just had an absolute great time. Saw over $2 million in 1 month. That was pretty damn cool. So, and to date, not including the trades I'm looking at this week, past 2 weeks, we've done about 38 grand. Based on my Amazon, Robinhood, and XLY this week, you can add another 13.5 to that, and that's how I'm doing in August. Feeling pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and get airborne. Primary brief. Hey, quick reminder. I'll actually tell folks who aren't, even if you're not a member, folks, if you're in South Florida, or I strongly recommend you put this on your calendar on Saturday, November 20th. You want to be in Fort Lauderdale. We have reserved the IMAX Theater in downtown Fort Lauderdale, only 300 seats. And we're doing the world premiere of Maverick, Top Gun 2. Everybody's got to wear a flight suit. We're going to have food and cocktails and stuff like that. So we have a cocktail reception before the movie. Movie begins at 6:15, and then guess what we're doing after we're all hopped up chanting USA? We're going to the hangar, and we're having a hangar party. We got fighter jets there. We got famous people who are going to be there, from Hollywood to the military to maybe even somebody who's the governor of a really cool state down here who still has to confirm. It's going to be a blast. So let me give you the link to this. We have, I got an update 2 days ago. We are what did she say? Just like 99 tickets left. It was like 201. I'm like, that's a weird number. We have like 99 tickets left to fill. So grab your ticket. There's VIP packages available where you get a flight suit provided with you. We got a Top Gun Fighter Foundation patch on there. You might be able to get hang out with a couple of my very close buddies now who are national heroes. This is going to be the event, folks. So come see Maverick too, which is going to be awesome, and then party with us. And it's charity. It's for our foundation. So all the money is going to help reduce veteran suicide, to get veterans treatment that I spoke of, that I talked about. All right, here we go. Strategic brief. In great news, Iran, Russia, and China are holding joint naval drills in the coming months. It's not coincidental that they just announced this, right? Like, oh, and by the way, as you surrender and run out of Afghanistan, you gave Afghanistan back to the Taliban, who you went there to defeat, and they're actually better off after 20 years, folks. They were living in caves. Now they're living in the U.S. Embassy with Black Hawk helicopters. The Taliban, folks, have more Black Hawk helicopters than Australia, who is one of the Five Eyes, one of our intelligence, one of our biggest allies. They have more helicopters. And I'm really sick of people like in the, well, they don't know how to fly them. Are you nuts? Do you know how many helicopter idiots can? I can't stand. Makes my skin crawl. Like, well, those people are idiots. They don't know how to operate that weaponry. They beat the biggest superpower on the face of the dirt in the submission, and you're still going to make fun of them? Or they sell the parts on the black market, or they sell those helicopters to actually people who are going to use them. They have A-27 Super Tucanos. That's a pretty tactical aircraft, folks. It's a bomb truck. My buddy brought his down here to Pompano a couple months ago, and I went out and dogfight with them. It's a bomb airplane, folks. They have mine-resistant vehicles that we gave them. Joe Biden just oversaw the largest transfer of automatic weapons in our republic's history. But you can't have an AR-15. We'll give them to the Taliban, though. So this is awful. This was interesting. A U.S. F-15 shot down an Iranian drone. Where? In Syria. But Wiz, I thought the other day the president said in a press conference we don't have troops in Syria. Well, of course, Jen Psaki or Anthony Blinken or the Secretary of Defense or Baghdad Bob, the Kirby, this Admiral spokesman, the Pentagon spokesman, they really are like the guy in the white suit behind the elephant at the circus. Whenever Joe Biden walks by, they come by with the shovel and the trash can. We have over 950 troops in Syria, in the country of Syria. So, of course, he said that, and the Pentagon had to come out and say, well, no, actually, we do have troops in Syria. He said the other day that al-Qaeda in Afghanistan is gone. Anthony Blinken had to come out and say, of course, it's not gone. So you have a man who absolutely has no idea what's going on, who's in charge. Okay. You take your troops out last, with them facing out of the back of the aircraft, waiting to get shot at as they leave. You don't pull the military out and then go, oh, by the way, sorry, we're leaving, Americans. I can't stand when they're pumping their chest with this whole, we flew 30,000 people out yesterday. I'm like, people? Okay, how many of those Americans? Well, we'll get you those numbers, sir. It's kind of pretty small. Oh, okay, great. So the 30,000, quote, people who are really vetted and everything like that, the one flight out that I saw had 800 military-age fighting males on the aircraft coming to a neighborhood near you. Good stuff, folks. I'm stunned. I pray to God this doesn't happen, but I am stunned that they haven't shot down one of these aircraft yet. If you're ISIS-K, you go get a shoulder-mounted missile and you go take down one of these transport aircraft, kill hundreds, and the flights stop. God, I hope that does not happen. Pamela, Wiz, could you please share some links of your news sources so that we can follow? Pamela, when you in the first full throttle session, the academic sessions, that whole first session is actually me sharing all of my intelligence sources. So we'll do that. I'll do that then. So make sure you attend that. I don't know. They didn't fly the Blackhawks out, folks, because apparently nobody on the face of this planet knew that the Taliban, the Afghanis, would just drop their rifles and run. I did. Anybody below the rank of colonel knew what exactly was going to happen. Generals have been lying to America for years, and the admirals. They get their stars. They go to Raytheon. They come back from Raytheon to buy their replacement buddy dinner and get him drunk and tell him he needs this new weapon system in Afghanistan. Then they testify in front of Congress that everything's great in Afghanistan. We're winning for years and years and years. Everything's going super great. They either lied or they're idiots. There's no third choice. Right now, if I were Joe Biden, if you want to be nice, you give him a little bit of a 10-minute warning. In 10 minutes, I'm going to blow up every one of those helicopters and Super Tucanos and L-39s. Every aircraft, every UAV, I'm going to destroy in 10 minutes. Leave. Or if you don't want to be nice, you just do it. It's our equipment, but this would take cojones. Afghanistan proves our feral generals no longer care about winning, folks. Loser, 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 woke loser. This guy has spent months ripping apart Tucker Carlson, transgender integration training, and critical race theory. The biggest threat to this country, according to Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin and General Milley, was COVID and white supremacy. Not like the real enemy. Like, these guys suck. They should be fired. They should be brought back on active duty and then court-martialed. I'd be doing this if I was the President of the United States, folks. We clearly don't run the country like the military or a business. Somebody is accountable. In my book, From Sea Level to Sea Level, we talk about the concept of a SPA, a single point of accountability. It's clearly not the president, even though he says it is. Well, the buck stops here, comma. and all these people failed, and it's not me. But the buck stops here. I can't stand people like that. If you say the buck stops here, stop talking. I'd say the buck stops here. And if you did think that other people were responsible, you clip them, you fire them. It'll never happen. This will absolutely impact the market, folks, because there's the bald eagle of the United States walking the president of Taiwan into a hole. The Global Times should be an intelligence source that you read on a daily basis. The Global Times, it's almost laughable, but it isn't. This is the Chinese mouthpiece. All these articles are funny, but they're not funny. Exclusive, how did Biden's intelligence team concoct the 90-day report on COVID? China to offer genuine aid in Afghanistan's economic reconstruction amid chaotic transition. Wow. Has Biden been set up by politicized intelligence agencies with absurd virus origins tracing? Oh, you mean your level 4 lab? Wow. Afghanistan effect will continue to play out across the world. So this is the Global Times. I strongly recommend you read it because this is what China is thinking. And China, if you're sitting here watching our embarrassment in Afghanistan, they already said this last week. They warned the Taiwan separatists that we're coming for you, and Uncle Joe ain't going to do anything about it. So be prepared. How do you think the market's going to react to a China invasion of Taiwan? How do you think Taiwan Semiconductors, or one of the largest producing nations or states of semiconductors is Taiwan, under China control? You don't think the market's going to implode? Speaking of China, this dude, I called this a year ago. This was another one of my calls. I said, Jack Ma is done. He flew too close to the sun, man. He was at conferences and this and slamming China's regulators and this. In the span of a year, this guy, have you seen him? I don't know if he's alive. He ain't a billionaire anymore, folks. He, the billionaire entrepreneur matched the heights of America's tech legends, but failed to heed the warnings that Chinese leader Xi Jinping still called it. This is a great read. And it's terrifying, folks. If you're Jack Ma, a Chinese billionaire, you build all these great companies and you're the face of capitalism in China, you'd think you were untouchable. You'd be wrong. This is stunning. So if you're a regular Chinaman, you see that even Jack Ma, all the money in the world ain't keeping you from getting clipped. Maybe the only reason this dude hasn't been clipped is because maybe they really, really would not like the backlash. This is shocking. Ma's exit from the world stage followed a typically frank speech in October when he criticized government regulators for stifling financial innovation. Then Mr. Xi personally intervened days later to block the Ant Group. And then that was it. Whew. Mr. Ma, 56 years old, has exchanged a wall-to-wall schedule of business travel and meetings with world leaders for golf and the reading of Taoist texts. He's hired a teacher to learn oil painting. He's like Frank Pantangeli in The Godfather, folks. He also traveled to Beijing to try and smooth things over. People familiar with his activities said it was too little, too late. Mr. Ma strayed too far out of his lane. Wow. What's this have to do with us? Well, that deals, folks, China's market, man. If they sneeze, we catch a cold physically, as we know with COVID. But if they're doing this shit in China, look at the CEO of Nike. The CEO of Nike recently, before his earnings, said what? We're a Chinese company. I almost fell out of my chair. Look at the NBA. They admit it. They're like, United States viewership this big, and you all hate us anyway. We're going to China. Yeah, I can give you the link to this one. But read this. This is a cautionary tale, folks. You do not fly too close to the sun in China's capitalism. Jack Ma's billions are now owned by the state. So here we go. Stocks open higher with S&P. So that was your strategic brief. Now we peel down one more layer and we get operational right now. Stocks open higher with S&P 500 poised for a record close. Tech stocks are starting to tick up with the S&P 500 on track for record if it can hold the levels through the trading day today. So as briefed, every one of these, boing, 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 we're buying opportunities. A couple of these were tech wrecks. Tech just got hammered. This one, I believe, was an interest rate scare. But still, I mean, tech got hammered. Every one of these was a buying opportunity. And every one of these, until further notice, will be a buying opportunity. Okay? Unless, absolutely unless, let's get into it. What's the unless, Wiz? This guy. Fed Chairman Powell navigates the inflation debate. Okay? We're getting ready for Jackson Hole. It's the beautiful, I think they're doing it virtual though. The beautiful people at the Fed. It's the American Davos. All the beautiful people in the financial world go out to Jackson Hole in their sweaters, sit around the fire and talk about printing money and how they're destroying the U.S. financial system. Or at least that's what I think they would do. So Goldman Sachs has said Goldman Sachs raises odds of a U.S. Fed taper announcement in November. We might get a taper this year, folks. But Goldman Sachs, being Goldman Sachs, is what? In a note, the investment bank said it raised the odds to a formal taper to 45% from 25% and lowered the December chance from 55 to 35. A November announcement coupled with a $15 billion per month pace would mean the FOMC would make the final taper at its September 22 meeting. So, couple things. If you were here at Top Gun Options, you remember the last time Jerome Powell did something the market didn't like. Let's go back to 2018, if your memory isn't that good. That's right there. October 3rd, folks. Now, this implosion doesn't look that bad because we had that, the COVID crash. But ladies and gentlemen, this was a 3-month, 20% implosion in the market. We went down, I think it was 22% in 3 months. It was violent. It was brutal. Not for us. We printed money. Why did this happen, Wiz? Because Jerome Powell on October 3rd said, you know what? Things are looking great. We're going to raise interest rates. Holy shit. We all know what happened here. That's the COVID crash, and then we haven't turned around. Folks, we are due for one of these. Markets do this. Markets are cyclical. Businesses have cycles, right? So, well, Ben, wow, it's a good point, right? There's a revolving door, literally, between Goldman Sachs and the Fed and the government. How many Treasury secretaries are Goldman Sachs heavies? I mean, look at Mnuchin. Steve Mnuchin was partners with my sister at Dune Capital in New York. My sister runs Dune Capital now. That's where Steve Mnuchin was. There is a revolving door. So you got to kind of listen to Goldman Sachs on this. So, Dave, on the news, they talk the last taper tantrum was 2013, only 6%. That was for a taper, Dave, right? That was under Ben Bernanke. This wasn't a taper. This was raising interest rates. Okay? So here's the discussion we have to have. I think last week in our primary live trade brief, here you go. I was a 60-40 that we're going to have a taper tantrum. What do I mean by that? I think back last week, I believe that there's a 60% probability that when in November, if it's November, he says we're throttling back our asset purchases, we get a taper tantrum. It would be an excuse to do what? This, and buy some stuff at a discount. Folks, I love all of these things. I have averaged down my Amazon long position. Remember, anytime the market goes down like that and you are in a solid name and the solid name is down, how do you look at it? I'm thrilled. Why? Because I get to get more of what I like cheaper. Doesn't that make sense? A lot of, like we talked about last night, a lot of trading and investing, folks, is right here in the 6 or 7 inches of gray brain matter between your ears, man. If you have a positive mindset and go, man, Amazon's a steal down here, God bless you. Amazon is a steal down here. Okay. So this week, I'm actually upping my delta. I'm going to say there is a 70 delta that we're okay. We don't get a taper tantrum. Let's focus on the 70 first. Why do I think not now? Before it was 50-50. Last month, I'm like, because I think, first of all, Jerome Powell caused the 2018 20% bear market. Wiz, why you say he caused it? He was doing his job. Exactly. I don't care that I do care that the market went down because I love violence and down markets. So yay. But I'm telling you, Jerome Powell doesn't, because most people don't do what we do. Most people have a 401k or an IRA, and they're kind of long only, and they don't like their 401k being a 201k, right? Does that make sense? Us as options traders, I don't care as long as it moves. So Jerome Powell doesn't want to see that again. Okay, it's ugly. Not that the guy is looking for job protection, but he's coming up for either renomination or Joe Biden's going to clip him. I think the squad and the uber left side of the Democratic Party actually want to clip the guy and put somebody progressive in there. Apparently, in all of his testimony, when he bows to the Democrats on critical race theory and inequality in the markets and everything like that, he didn't bow deep enough. You never bow to the woke mob, folks. It'll never happen. Okay. So here's breaking news. Taliban from the G7. Taliban reaffirms no evacuation extension as we meet on the crisis. God, to have Ronald Reagan back. We don't negotiate with terrorists. I can't. I mean, Joe Biden, it's just, he's embarrassing, right? He's on Adderall. He's squinting at just turn the teleprompter around, dude. I'll read it. It's less annoying listening to you stumble and mumble than me reading the teleprompter. You pick up the phone, Joe, and you call the Taliban and go, if you interfere at all, we're coming to get our people. If you interfere at all, I'm going to kill all of you, especially the leadership. One of the biggest things I got wrong, when was that? 17, 6, whenever it was. I forget. I love admitting when I'm wrong because this would have been horrific. What did I say? We had 3 carrier strike groups off North Korea. I knew every dude that commanded the carriers and the commander of the air wing. I was friends with all those guys. They were off Korea, folks. That was the first time we had that much steel since like the Battle of Midway in the Pacific, folks. Donald Trump was going to attack North Korea. I know for a fact. What happened? And remember, he was sitting in his golf course in New Jersey. It ended up being the name of a book. He said, I think he had his arms crossed. He was like, I will rain fire and fury down on you like the world has never seen. A little birdie told me what happened. Donald Trump's like, you know what? We can't. 25 million people dead. That's insanity. I'm just going to kill you. From what I heard, he sent a picture from a drone with a bullseye on the guy's head. He's like, I'm not killing all your people. I'm going to kill you. Just you. And the guy's like, holy shit, he's crazier than I am. This is the type of shit you need. Folks, Joe Biden ran on my 47 years of foreign policy experience, which has been wrong. He's been wrong on every foreign policy issue. Whatever, guys. I just, just seeing that makes my skin crawl. Go retake Bagram Air Base. So it's bad enough if you're an American stuck in Kabul. What if you're stuck outside of Kabul? Get to the airport. I know that there are thousands of Americans trapped outside of Kabul. Retake Bagram Airfield, Mr. President. It's a disgrace. Anyway, back to taper tantrum here. I'm up to a 0.7 delta. Why? Because Jerome knows the past and he doesn't want to repeat it. And he also he's either done it or he hasn't. And what's that? He's, speaking of prepping the battlefield, he's prepped the battlefield, right? He sends a couple lieutenants out to get on Bloomberg or CNBC or Fox Business and talk about, well, I think we should actually raise rates this year or taper now. So this won't be a shock to the market, right? Now the market can still sell off and algorithmic trading, and we can still get a knee-jerk reaction that, oh my God, the crack pipe is being slimmed down a little bit. But I think it's going to be okay. I think it's going to be okay. But we folks will be Johnny on the spot. If it's not okay, we're going to pound the market into the dirt. Folks, we're not even in our investment clubs, folks. A self-directed investment club is where we all get together and talk and share intel and all our trades and stuff like that. We got 137 people in here. But we make our own investment decisions. We fire our own trades, right? A regular investment club, 137 people would get together, yell back and forth, and then come to an agreement and fire one trade. No, thank you. But what am I getting at? Like in big firms, ladies and gentlemen, in the firm I was at in Chicago, if every trader had their own book, right? You might be managing 100 million or 500 million or 50 million or whatever it is. So you had some leeway, but the firm also had firm positions, right? All right, everybody, in 3 seconds, load the boat on Amazon. This strike, these calls, boom, go. But if a big firm, this is why I'm telling you to watch Billions. It's entertaining, but it's also, you'll see stuff, folks. If a firm wants to do something big and they have a big position in it, folks, it may not be good for them. Hey, dump all 100,000 shares of our Apple right now at the market. What? Just do it. As soon as you click send, the world sees that and the price starts going down. So you bite your nose off to spite your face. Now you're going to lose even money. So it's sometimes, this is why on the way down in the COVID crash, folks, they lied their ass off to you. Oh, I'd buy here. This is a dip. I'm nibbling here. I'm definitely nibbling here. This is the bottom. Lie, 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 lie. Misery loves company. Me, don't. I said sell, sell, sell all the way down. So here's what I'm getting at. If I'm wrong, I'll admit it. There's a 30% probability that Jerome just doesn't get the messaging right. And the market decides, you know what, this is as good as time as any to sell. I'm going to take some profits, everybody out of the pool. We're going to be ready for that. I just showed you our portfolios from last year when the big one happened. There was mornings where as soon as the market opened, I'm buying puts with both hands on the S&P 500, and they make like 90 grand in 10 minutes. As the market went down thousands of points, right? So it's interesting. So I'm a 70-30 that we're going to be okay. So the 30 is where we should probably spend a lot of our time, especially in full throttle. We're going to be talking about the what ifs, right? Making money in a market that does this, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. Making money in a market that's doing this, we got to be ready for that. So that's the 30% we're going to focus on: how to hedge, how to make money as the market's going down. Now, some things to talk about. The Pfizer vaccine approved yesterday. Now you have no excuse. Blah 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 blah. He's begging companies to mandate their employees to take it. My company will not be doing that. Clearly, my son, Norwich University, was trying to do it, and he got a religious exemption or whatever it was, a medical exemption. The fall's coming, folks. If you believe, wow, nice pop in Amazon. If you believe, there we go. Right there's the 3,300 that I need. We'll talk about Amazon in a couple minutes because I got some short calls on. Is the reopening trade in danger? MGM, Carnival Cruise Lines, Delta Airlines, JetBlue, all of those names had monster runs. is the Delta variant. Oh, that's so last week. Now we got the Lambda variant coming. It's a virus, folks. It has variants. Do we, I've already seen a lot of airline cancellations and this and that and the other thing. We're coming up in the fall. It's flu season anyway. Do we get hit with a shit sandwich? So write that down on your card of bearish ideas, man. MGM, Delta. But buddies have gone to Vegas recently, and they're like, dude, it's packed. I get it. I live in Florida, man. We believe in personal liberty and individual freedom, and the clubs in Miami are packed and all that type of stuff. But the point being is, do we have a Delta crossover point, or has that passed? Right? Has the frothing at the mouth literally passed for Delta? Right? There was weeks there where the top of the Drudge Report was just ripping DeSantis apart. And then now it's kind of subsided a little bit. So I don't know. I'm just giving you kind of my intel and how to potentially trade it. Okay. Absolutely positively want to be in Amazon if that happens. Oh, what are we going to have another COVID crash? Maybe. Amazon won't. The mastermind group I'm in, a bunch of people, I didn't last week because I was moving money around, added to Amazon down here. Folks, if we get another, oh my God, ooga booga booga lockdown, Amazon will be a flight to safety. It's safe. It ain't going out of business anytime soon. And if we're going to be paying people not to work and sit at home, they're going to be ordering on Amazon. This was a layup trade last year, and it's printing money, folks. We'll be back up at 3,800 in Amazon before long. I will absolutely take this victory lap too. I nailed Amazon the last earnings. I said it's going to implode, folks. I said 3,300. I got it wrong by $6 right there. I said it was going to implode. Every other earnings, I said it was going to explode. Why'd that happen? Math, folks. They had been printing so much money as a result of this scandemic, but we're open kind of now. So I knew that they were going to level off at altitude eventually. They're still printing money, but it wasn't as much as, Wall Street wanted them to be printing. So, okay. So this is a steal to get into Amazon down here. We can cover that in solo Amazon. That's a separate service. So yeah, my buddy's hedge fund portfolio has been quietly adding Amazon. Goose, I would absolutely be doing that, man. This is now we need to break above this 3,300 with some airspeed to really kind of be awake again. So I learned more in 15 minutes with you than reading books for years. I haven't seen that. Daljit, I am, if you don't mind, I'm going to steal that as a little bit of a testimonial. That's pretty cool. Thank you for saying that. All right. Talked about. All right, let's keep going. Wanted to cover that. Amazon, we did need this nice little rally here. What are my personal Amazon position? I am long. Choking to death here. I'm long 7 Amazon Jan 23. So a couple years out into the future, I'm bullish on Amazon, and I bought these upside calls, the 3,900 calls. For this week, I sold short calls against those longs. So I sold 7 of the 3,300 calls out to Friday. Now we're at 3,300 right now, and I'm bringing in this week $8,000. I'm bringing in $8,000 just for selling these calls. Okay. Now, right now, they're at the money or in the money a little bit, right? Got to keep an eye on these because we are at Amazon 3,300. But as I just kind of briefed, it's this is an inflection point. We're either going to hold it and head higher, or we'll probably head back down to this 32.75, which we had a great run up yesterday, right up to 32.75, hung out for a while, and now up to 3,300. We'll see if this holds. If this keeps going, I'm going to roll those calls up most likely because I want to hold on to my Amazon long here. Robinhood having a nice little rally here. Robinhood, I can't stand. This is a hold your nose trade for me, guys. What do I mean by hold your nose trade? I can't stand Vlad I can't stand Ken Griffin from Citadel or Stevie Cohen. They remind me of an episode of Billions, but this is a good company to invest in. Most brokerage firms, folks, become another brokerage firm, options house. They all end up consolidating, right? There will only be a handful of brokerage firms. So I'm looking at Robinhood as more of a merger play, okay? Not a, it can, if you looked at the earnings for Robinhood recently, they did great, fantastic earnings. But remember, an earnings call is a half a thing. Half of the thing is backwards. Hey, here's how we did. And how they did was print money. The second half of the call is looking forward, and they didn't say they were going to continue to print money, that things might actually throttle back a little bit. The whole scandemic, locked in the basement, dude trading on an app that pops confetti when you buy a stock. So I'm looking at this as an acquisition, as a takeover. Now, a couple weeks ago, I sold cash secured puts. I think that down here at like 51 or something like that. Took delivery of the shares, and then last week and this week, I am selling upside calls. So I sold these upside calls, and I'm bringing in $4,500 this week. Okay. I sold them down here Monday when the stock was just hanging out. Now it's ripping higher. I have no problems with this. I don't have any problems with this getting called away. I actually like the fact that Robinhood is starting to work. David sold 43 puts last week, doing great for this expiration this week. Thanks for the recommendation. You're awesome, man. That's great news. Yeah, I can cover that. Here's a cash secured put. Yeah, let me talk about that for a little bit because I think Robinhood's is going to rally here. The concept of a cash secured put is insurance company. You become the insurance company. Okay. So we all know that Robinhood had its IPO recently and rip your face off rally, gave some back, and now it's trying to find some footing. Okay. Let's go with a 10-day chart here. Looks like, now it's doing this rally, trying to get back up into the 50s. It looks like, maybe even a 45 put. You could go out to this Friday or out the next Friday and maybe sell these 45 puts. It's a very volatile stock, folks. So we like very volatile stocks. When volatility is cheap, you buy it. When volatility is expensive, you want to be a seller of volatility. So let's say we think that, Hood's going to stay above 45 by Friday. We could sell some cash secured puts out to Friday. If we sold 10 of Friday's 45 puts, that's us saying, I don't think Hood is going to be below 45 by Friday. Well, what do we get? We get paid. We bring in $680, right? What if we're right? If Hood is above 45 by Friday, no matter what, we keep the $700. Actually, let's take a look at what the risk is first, right? Now, don't freak out. The max potential loss in this name to do this is 44 grand. But folks, let's use our thinking brain. The math on this screen right now at E-Trade is calculating what by Friday? Amazon. Hood goes to zero. Can Robinhood Brokerage LLC or whatever the formal name is be at zero by Friday? Of course it can. Will it? No. But you can't pick up the phone and call E-Trade and go, hey man, what is stupid margin risk requirement? It's not. There's a couple things you can do. Well, first of all, most brokerage firms don't require you to hold the full amount for a cash secured put in here. It's a ratio of some sort. Okay. Again, you'd have to pick up the phone, call your broker, or just try and place this trade and see. Right. A couple weeks ago, I've traded a larger account. I sold 30 of some cash secured puts. Right. I brought in 20, whatever it was that for that week. Let's go 80. Okay, so that's a little bit more. Now I don't have enough money to do that, but I brought in. But here's what happened. And check this out. Look where the break even is, folks. If I bring in 800 bucks, my break even it isn't 45, folks. It's 44.20. Remember, I'm selling these 45 puts. That's you become the insurance company. You say, I don't think Hood goes below 45 by Friday. If it doesn't, keep the 800. Even if it does, you keep the 800. But here's the better point. Guess what your break even is? What is 45 minus 80 cents that you're bringing in? 44.20. So there are some people who like to call this tactic buying a stock at a discount. I mean, technically, you are getting it at a little bit of a discount. You aren't getting it at 45 bucks. Your cost basis is 44.20. Anything above 44.20, you make money. Isn't that cool? So this is a tactic called a cash secured put. Okay, this is a pretty cool tactic to have here. I had a 9,000 cash secured put trade on 20 Hood contracts when it dipped, so it can be very lucrative at times. I sold at the money after the hard dip, for example. Exactly, Goose. Folks, this is a great tactic, and I love it on names like this that are a little bit volatile, right? So this would be a good potential trade here if you like a cash secure put. Hell, if you think, hey Wiz, I think it's getting back on the horse, man. I think we're up in the 50s by next week. Well, then maybe you go out to next Friday and do a cash secured put. What's the 45 out the next Friday? 10. Sell 10 of next Friday's 45 puts, and you bring in 1,900 bucks in a week, guys. Yeah, Benoit, that's how I make a living. Folks, people, so let's talk about, and then this one is risk. Give me 5-cent increment. This one brings in about $2,000 by next week, in a week and a half here. Same risk as the 10 contracts I was looking. So let's talk possible contingencies here. Let's say you wake up Friday morning or at the closing bell on Friday, Hood is in fact below 45. If you sold these 10, remember, sellers have obligations. Buyers have rights. When I sell something, when I sell an option, I'm obligated to do something. When I buy something, I have the right to do something, right? So in this case, when we sell 10 of next Friday's 45 puts and it finishes that day, Friday's closing bell, below 45, Saturday morning at settlement, you're going to wake up and your account is going to be long. You're going to be assigned. Those shares are going to be what? Put to you, hence the term. Your shares, you're going to wake up and be long 1,000 shares of Hood. Okay? First case, if it stays above 45, you keep the money, go look out the next Friday and do another cash secured put. Below 45, hey, I got assigned 1,000 shares of Hood. Then this is called what I call the options wheel, man. Right? Let's have a little wheel hill. Let's put Hood in here. Right? Sell a cash secured put, bring in money. I didn't get assigned the shares. Sell next week's cash secured put. Oh, I got assigned the shares. Then turn it into a covered call. What do I mean by that? If I wake up this Saturday assigned 1,000 shares of Hood, I'm just going to go out to Friday and sell some at the money calls. Okay. So I'd sell 10 of next Friday's 48 calls, and you bring in 2,500 bucks. So, folks, this is a tactic. This isn't a time where I should teach this tactic this in depth. That's what we do at night in our full throttle training. But since a lot of people are asking questions, folks, this is a nice, consistent way to potentially bring in anywhere from, I don't know, 1,500 bucks to 2,500 bucks a week, right? Using this tactic, folks, let's say you average, hey man, I'm making $2,000 a week selling cash secured puts times 52 trading weeks. That's $100,000 a year potentially just on this tactic. That's pretty cool, isn't it? That's nice, consistent income. Selling a cash secured put. Yeah. Well, this one I might make this our weekly options trade. Maybe I'll blast this out as a weekly options trade. I like a 45 out the Friday. Heck, maybe even a 46. Sell 10 of Friday's 46 puts. You got to do it in 5-cent increments. So let's try and get at least $1.20. I'm going to take a screenshot of this. Now it's going to $1.15. Let me grab a screenshot so I can put this in the email and text alert. File, save as, desktop. Oops, desktop. Where's it? File, save as. We'll talk about the metrics in a second. Hood, today's date, 8/24. Yeah, no, well, if you logged in early, yeah, I'll talk about that trade in a second. All right, the metrics of this trade, you're risking, it's telling you Hood might go to zero, but you're bringing in potentially $1,200 for the rest of the week. There's using at the money volatility in the options as I'm talking to you. There's a 69% probability of making the full $1,200 this week. And you can see the break even down there, guys, is 44.85, right? So this is how you can buy 1,000 shares of Hood if you want to at a discount. Hood, CSP, 8/24. Yeah, it's a cool tactic, isn't it? This is a very nice conservative tactic to do. All right. Yeah, I'll cover the other Hood trade. If you log in early, guys, it's a smart idea always to log in early because that's where I do my personal trading. And then I share it with my fellow investment club members. Whoops. And then I'll blast this out via text and email. I wasn't even going to look at this. I was going to be looking at VXX, but it's a good looking trade. That's the Hunters Investment Club, and then this is the Max Afterburner Full Investment Club. But no, I when you initially logged in, I had a bull put spread that I was looking at with whatchamacallit, Hood, and then it ran away from me. I tried to get filled on a bull put spread at 38 cents. That one's at 25 cents right now. I was doing 80 contracts, so 38. I'm glad some of you got filled on that one. 38 minus 25 equals times 80 contracts. That trade was made $1,000 in an hour. I didn't get filled on it. What's the difference to sell to open, sell to close? JR, just depends on what leg you're doing. It just depends. If you bought to open something, you sell to close. If you sell to open, you buy to close. Right? Or is the bull put spread at 45, 44 at 40 cent is more conservative? Bob, I can't answer that. I don't know what your definition of conservative is. Your definition, my definition are completely different. That's why I don't give individual investment advice, right? That's what you have to figure out in your own airplane. I'm not sure what your risk tolerance is and all that type of stuff. Yeah, Greg. So Gregory said Merrill didn't let me sell the naked put, so I had to do the spread. So maybe Bob, there's the answer to your question: is if you might not be eligible to do a cash secured put, folks, then do a bull put spread. Good catches, guys. I like that. And those look like some new people names, so that's good. But keep an eye, folks. I'm running out of time. We got 5 minutes left. Keep an eye on this trade in the background, VXX. take a look at the SPX today. It's not feeling super duper right now. Take a look at this. We're just this is very rare for SPX. Usually we see a big opening move, a retrace, and we're kind of teetering here. And it feels like we might get a little bit of a break lower. Yeah. I mean, this bounce, this was a pretty decent bounce, but as you can tell, when we get these bounces back, oversold, overbought, hover. We might have a hover day here. Here's what I'm getting at. Write this trade idea down is a bear call spread on VXX. If we get so remember VXX, it's a volatility instrument. It's not the VIX. It's its own ETF. But as SPX tends to go down, we get, as you can see, as SPX kind of has been muddying around today, this is elevated. So I like taking shots of opportunity. We did this last week. I had like 2 or 3 VXX bear call spreads that printed money on Thursday and Friday as the market climbed out of the hole. So those were awesome. So always have that written down as a potential trade idea is when the market pulls back, and it's not the big one, right? If we start pulling back for, I don't know, just awful reasons, get out of the way. Pound the market into the dirt. I'll train you how to do this. But if we're just getting a last week pullback on, profit taking or Delta variant, get ready, be Johnny on the spot with VXX bear call spreads. I did one here, here, and here, and that happened. All 3 of them that I put out last week expired for max profit. I think that was like 10 grand in profit just in VXX trades. So, Paul, I use VXX for spreads. I use VIX if I'm going to do straight calls or puts. That's another lecture we can do on our own. But if you want to hedge, like Wiz, I think we're going to implode in September. I just need a little bit of protection. Go out to October and buy some VIX calls. I mean, the VIX is a heart rate, folks. Look at this. This is exactly what it does. Nothing's going on, freak out. Nothing's going on, freak out. Nothing's going on, a little bit, no, freak out. Nothing's going on, freak out. You will get a nothing's going on freak out for September or October. I guarantee it. So, like I just said 5 minutes ago, when volatility is cheap, you buy it. When volatility is expensive, you sell it. Right now, volatility is cheap, and you should most likely hop in your time machine and go out to September or October and buy some calls, period. But I don't do spreads on the VIX. I use VXX. I do spreads on VXX, not VIX. I have been doing cash secured puts on the VIX 30 days out. Ooh, that's interesting. That is a very interesting tactic. So take a look at upside. Look at this on the VIX, guys. Right now, the VIX is at 17. Look at October. Look at the open interest down here. 38 grand, 8 grand, 17 grand, 27, 10, 62,000. Somebody out in the future is going, the VIX is going to hit 25 in October. Or somebody has a lot of longs in their portfolio and they're simply hedging. That is an interesting strike right there. Maybe we'll talk about this tomorrow in Accelerated Retirement. Oct 25 strike. So if, market just kind of grinding around here, drifting at record highs, this is when you get long volatility. It's a heart rate monitor, folks. It freaks out and then goes back to everything's fine. Freaks out, goes back to everything's fine. Historically, September, October and February are the 2 most volatile months in the market, period. Been doing it for 31 years, guys. I know this. September, sometimes. But if we get a September Fed meeting, we are going to taper, and it is going to be November. It could be the excuse to have a taper tantrum, guys. I said I'm a 70-30, that it doesn't happen. But if you don't like that, if you're the type of guy or gal that says, well, that means there's a 30% probability that can happen, get out here and sleep better at night and buy some upside VIX calls. Okay. The 25 strike on those would be pretty nice. 10, 20, what's that? A 20, 30% spike in the VIX? That can happen, guys. And I've been there. I was in the board of trade when the VIX hit 90 in the financial crisis, folks. In the blink of an eye, the VIX can be up 30%, 20%. So don't think this can't happen. These people doing this out here are most likely not idiots. Okay, so there's some people just kind of walking over to the VIX bin going, don't mind me. Yeah, I'm long a lot of stuff. I'm going to go hedge over here and get along some volatility. Okay. Good stuff. Good brief. Hopefully you learned something, right? Again, I treated you, all the new folks. We got a couple, 300-400 new folks in here today. This is exactly how a full throttle session, the primary live trade brief, is run, minus the first 10 minutes of me talking about me. To be honest with you, I can't stand talking about me. I'd rather just jump in and do all this stuff. But again, one of the only guys in the industry that says, here's what I do, and you can come check it out for free. It's on me. This is essentially your trial, folks. People are like, do you have a trial? I'm like, yeah, you just did it for 4 days. So there's your trial. All right. Good stuff. I'm going to text out this cash secured put via email. You know what? I'm going to make it the weekly options trade. This will be our weekly options trade. The cash secured put on, where's my weekly options? And I'll send this out to the weekly options members and the primary live trade brief. You don't have to sit here right now as I do this because it takes me about 5 to 10 minutes to do it. So, all right, guys, I'll send out the email and text, and then I'll get the replay posted on the replay page. The replay will be also posted on this page, folks. I will post the replay for the free people in here on this page. It'll be up here in about a half an hour, and I will also have a link to the page where you can see the cash secured put trade. Okay, so there's the link in the chat box to watch the replay. You can watch the replay from last night. And the replay from right now will be up here in about 30 to 45 minutes with the trade that we talked about. Okay. You're welcome. Awesome. Good. I'm glad learning is occurring. It appears some folks didn't know what a cash secured put tactic is. I love it, man. It's a great income generating tactic. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. God bless. Namaste, and I'll see you tomorrow for session 3 of Full Throttle, free accelerated retirement. Okay, and we're going to open up the doors to 50 new members. And if you love what you saw right now and you want to grab your slot now, I'd go grab your slot now, because I think we will fill up based on the amount of interest that I'm seeing this time around. People are smart, folks. People know a shitstorm's coming, and you don't want to fly through a shitstorm by yourself. Join up and fly formation with us. Okay, guys, God bless, and I'll talk to you all later tomorrow.